What are your strengths and weaknesses? This interview question might seem simple, but it's very tricky because sometimes you might know your strengths, but you don't know how to describe them in words. Because on one hand, you'll be struggling to describe yourself in a way that will make you seem cocky, braggy, or narcissistic. On the other hand, you're wondering,
Which of my weaknesses can I project? That will make me lose this opportunity.
or you don't even know how to answer this interview question. Good news, you are watching the right video. In this video, I'll be sharing with you words you can use to describe your strengths and weaknesses. Also, sample answers and the reason why the interviewer is asking about your strengths and weaknesses. Hi, welcome. This is Mfon empowering you with content that will help you enhance and accelerate your career. So if this is your first time of seeing this face, you are welcome. Consider subscribing. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. You know I do not take your support for granted. Thank you. So why do interviewers ask about your strengths and weaknesses? This question is not intended to set you up for failure. Here are my top 4 reasons why hiring managers ask about your strengths and weaknesses. The first reason is to know if your strengths will add value to the role and the company. The second is to know if you'll be sincere about your weaknesses. The next reason is to know if you're self aware. Finally, if you have plans to improve on your weaknesses, because everyone has weaknesses. But the question is, what are you doing about them? Or they should take you as you are. You know, some people usually say, take me as I am or leave it. Okay, so now you know why hiring managers are so interested in your strengths and weaknesses. Let's talk about the strategies to describe your strength. Give 2 or 3 strengths that align with the role you're interviewing for. Think about the positive qualities you have and skills you possess that have been useful in your former workplace and will be valuable to the company. Ensure you highlight your skills that are listed in the job description. Tell a story, don't just list out your strengths. Frame your answers. Like I said in this video, you should always have stories in your story journal. I am going to give you a few examples, but before I do that, here are a list of words you can use to describe your strengths: creative, problem solving, honest, flexibility, collaborative, detail oriented, communication. Let's start with the last one: communication. One of my greatest strengths is communication. Thanks to my experience as an HR officer in my previous job, I was able to harness this skill and become more efficient in my role. I was responsible for facilitating informational workshops for my staff members and mediating any conflict in the workplace. The next word you can use to describe your strengths is collaborative. Here is an example. My collaborative nature is one of my strongest attributes. I've always preferred to work in a team. On projects that I direct, I work well to inspire diverse team members and work side by side with them to achieve the project objectives. Also, working in a team gives me the opportunity to learn from others, listen more, and respect diversity in personal opinions. The next word you can use to describe your strengths during an interview is very common. Most people use it on their resume a lot: detail oriented. Here is an example. As a content creator, I love brainstorming new approaches to reach our consumers, but I am most known for my attention to detail. I care a lot about word choice because I believe that precise language can transform a piece from good to great. There you have it. You can use any of those words I listed earlier, pause the video, and use the sample answer to frame your own story. If you notice, I use transferable skills in the examples I gave, so you can use them in any interview as long as they are part of your strengths. If they are not, please don't. Okay, so strategies to describe your weakness. Share a weakness that won't wave a red flag in the mind of the interviewer. Choose one that gives you the chance to demonstrate growth. Quick advice: don't apply for a job where the job description is part of your weakness. Next, don't say you are a perfectionist. This is old and overused. Don't use it. The next strategy is to give a brief detail on how you are taking steps to improve on your weaknesses. So, my final strategy for you to help you describe your weaknesses is to craft your answer with a degree of self awareness and professionalism. Here are a list of words you can choose from while describing your weakness: procrastination, fear of public speaking, judgmental, self critical, uncomfortable with delegating tasks, sensitive and emotional. All right, so the following examples can help you formulate your response. Let's start with the first one: procrastination. Procrastination has long been a bad habit of mine. I think it stems from a fear of failure, to be honest. In my last job as an executive assistant, keeping up with appointments was very crucial to my role. I started using Google Calendar and apps like Trello to manage my time better. Crossing things off my to-do list makes me feel accomplished and give me a sense of fulfillment. Currently, I am learning to tackle harder tasks early in the day when I am feeling refreshed and less likely to put them off. The next phrase you can use is fear of public speaking. Here is an example. I would sincerely love to have the confidence to stand up in front of a group of people and give a talk. However, I have always felt nervous presenting in front of the class when I was in school, and that translated into the workplace. A few years ago, I led a big project and was asked to present it to the stakeholders. I was super nervous, but I realized I had to overcome this fear. I signed up for a public speaking course online and practiced with visual materials as well. Not only did this help get me through my first presentation after my training, but it also helped me feel more confident as a leader. The next example I'm going to give, I did not list it when I gave you a list of words you can use to describe your weaknesses, but it's what a lot of people struggle with: the inability to say no. Here is how you can use that to describe your weakness. I find it hard to say no to people. This has been a problem of mine because I always say yes to everything, even if what I really mean is no. In the past, I have sometimes become overwhelmed by taking on too many responsibilities and tasks, which would affect my ability to complete my own tasks on time. But recently, before I say yes to people or additional tasks, I now critically assess my own workload to make sure I do have the capacity to commit to extra work or responsibilities. And if I don't, I politely decline. As you can see, the ability to tell a story will take you a step further in the competition. Of course, you know it's a competition. So always frame your answers. It's normal to feel uncomfortable airing your weaknesses to potential employers. But remember, this is an opportunity to showcase your ability to assess your performance, respond to feedback in a positive way, and continually improve. And while it's important to be honest about your weaknesses, try not to review too much. Like I said earlier, there are a few traits that are not appropriate or beneficial to mention during an interview. Don't say you're not trustworthy, inability to meet deadlines, or you have poor attention to details. You might have top notch skills and amazing stories in your story journal, but if you're nervous, you won't be able to present yourself in a way that will wow the hiring manager. But don't worry, we have a fix right here. If you find value in this video, kindly give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe if you've not yet. It will make a huge difference. As always, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in this video as you learn how to overcome those interview nerves. Let's go.